AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Hey, I'm Jamie East, and today's episode of The Smart 7 is brought to you by Sainsbury's, where you can save big on festive favourites with Nectar prices. With Christmas round the corner, it's more important than ever to find value for money on your festive shop, especially if you're in the mood for festive, tasty treats. And this Christmas, Sainsbury's have got great discounts to make your festive season truly magical. For example, this week you can get a Taste the Difference 6-pack of mince pies, half price at £1.75, Fox's fabulous Viennese assortment sharing box for £3.75, and Pringles Original and Sour Cream and Onion both £1.50, all with Nectar prices. You can shop in-store or online and save big on festive favourites this Christmas with Nectar prices at Sainsbury's. That's good food for all of us. This offer's for 18+, terms and conditions apply. Pringles offer ends 2nd of December, Fox's offer ends 9th of December, Nectar required, available in-store and online excluding locals. Delivery fees may apply, subject to availability. 7 things you don't really need to know, but probably should. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Sunday 7.
I'm Ciara Revens in for Jamie East this week, and on today's episode of the award-winning Sunday 7, we catch up with NASA's latest climate measuring project, get a warning on the dangers of ultra-processed food, and find out when the first kiss happened. Plus, Will Guyatt, the Smart 7's resident tech guru, keeps an eye on another odd week for Elon Musk and has some golden joystick recommendations. If you're enjoying our episodes, please do like and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. We're here 7 days a week at 7 a.m. with the 7 biggest stories on the Smart 7 in association with Metro. Before we get started though, it was on this day in 1897 that the first patent for the humble pencil sharpener was filed. The inventor John Lee Love designed the simple sharpener, still in use today, and he's also the same inventor who created the plasterer's hook, a flat board with a handle used to carry a small amount of plaster. That's also still in use at building sites across the world. If you were looking for a metaphor to describe the ongoing struggle with global warming, a fire at the climate change talks in Brazil seems a little too obvious, but that's what happened. Thursday saw a fire break out in the pavilion beside the main auditorium at the COP30 talks, which were due to wrap up this weekend. Delegates and staff were safely evacuated, but the fire delayed the final phase of agreements. The summit has struggled to get traction, with the US largely boycotting it and no significant presence from major world leaders. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has been urging action on climate change for some time now, and with China announcing new emission reduction targets, there's still hope of a breakthrough. Guterres addressed the event before the fire broke out on Thursday.
After decades of denial and delay by many, science tells us that a temporary overshoot about 1.5 degrees, starting at the latest in the early 2030s, has become inevitable. We know what that means: more heat and hunger, more disasters and displacement, and the higher risk of crossing climate tipping points, unleashing irreversible damage, including here in the Amazon. But we can still bend temperatures back below 1.5 degrees before the end of this century, if we act now to make this overshoot as small, short and safe as possible.
This week we did see a significant development in tracking climate change, at least as NASA launched a new satellite called Sentinel 6B, which will be focused on measuring sea levels to track the impact of global warming. Ben Hamlington is a NASA research scientist, and he explains how the project works.
We're measuring the height of the ocean from space. Shipping, national security, fisheries, all of these depend on this information. The way the Sentinel 6B measures is it sends a radar signal down to the surface of the ocean and measures how long it takes that signal to get back to the satellite. And from that, we can really get a very accurate measurement of how sea levels are changing locally and on a global scale, down to about a 1-inch accuracy.
It's a joint venture between NASA and the European Space Programme, and Sentinel 6B is the twin of the original Sentinel satellite, which was launched 5 years ago. The plan is, with 2 satellites in operation, NASA will be able to deliver more accurate weather forecasts, flood predictions and improve public safety when it comes to extreme extreme weather events. Severine Fournier is a Sentinel 6B deputy project scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Labs, and she says that NASA has been able to track sea level changes. The second satellite will deliver new levels of accuracy.
We've been tracking changes to sea level for more than 30 years now. Sentinel 6B carries on this legacy of measuring sea level in a very consistent and very accurate manner.
This week has seen increasing anxiety in the tech world about the prospect of an AI bubble. Stock markets spent most of the week nervously awaiting the results from the newest tech giant on the block, Nvidia. AI really seems to be dominating the tech conversation, but the big question remains, when will the bubble burst? There's only one man we would like to see bursting bubbles, and that's the Smart 7's tech guru, Will Guyatt. So, Will, how did Nvidia's results look in the end?
They beat analyst expectations, so it means that the bubble continues, at least for a while. And unlike many companies and folk in the world of AI, Nvidia can't really be accused of overhyping its own products or performance. Instead, the company makes excellent graphics cards, and they were previously used to make amazing looking video games, but then accidentally proved brilliant at solving the math problems at the heart of these large language AI models. The company has said that sales for the 3 months to October jumped 62% to an eye-watering $57 billion US, and they say they have an order book of $500 billion for the next year. Absolutely insane.
The bubble chat got pretty serious though, didn't it? Even Google's CEO Sundar Pichai was expressing concern.
He told the BBC that no company would be immune if the AI bubble burst, one of the strongest signals that tech leaders are convinced that something could be round the corner. He also talked about elements of irrationality disturbing the market and mirroring the dot-com era, and said that even Google would be impacted if there was an AI crash. Now this follows the advice from the Bank of England and even top American investors, although Trump's government is now seriously telling those in tech to stop being negative about AI's potential. I wonder what Donald's family has to gain from this bubble continuing to build.
Elon Musk, on the other hand, wants to take AI to space. What's the thinking behind that?
Elon reckons that blasting server farms into space will make them the cheapest way of processing the vast amounts of data required for this AI future in just 5 years. He also says that the limitless solar power in space, because there's no clouds, and the relatively easy cooling will make it a very popular option. It does go without saying that Musk is an expert at blasting stuff into space, so if this becomes a reality, he's going to absolutely coin it in. At the same time though, the boss of Nvidia reckons this is just a dream, and he also knows a thing or two about AI and data storage, probably more than Elon.
He's been on a bit of a run this week, hasn't he? He says money will have no value soon. Is that because he'll have all of it?
He might be the world's richest man, but I don't necessarily think we should pay him too much attention. This sounds like the type of thing you might say around a really smoky campfire when you've had a big sack of weed. But Elon said it at a White House event for the US and Saudi Investment Forum, and he says that robots and AI will mean that the decision to work will eventually be optional, and many of us would see it as arduous as keeping a vegetable garden rather than popping down the supermarket for our grub. Elon has already said on many occasions that universal high income would sustain, but has never even given details on how this could possibly function. At least OpenAI's Sam Altman has started advocating for universal basic income, or a guaranteed pay packet from the government for sitting on your arse all day.
He's also bragging about his fitness, right?
We've previously discussed that Elon might have encouraged the developers of his AI chatbot to stack things in his favour, and this week we've definitely got more proof. So far this week, Grok has suggested that Elon Musk is fitter than the basketball great LeBron James and is smarter than Da Vinci, and Musk seems to frequently rank top in any given field you ask it about. It's said LeBron dominates in raw athleticism and basketball specific prowess, no question. He's a genetic freak optimised for explosive power and endurance on the court, but Elon edges out in holistic fitness, sustaining 80 to 100 hours a week across SpaceX, Tesla and Neuralink demands relentless physical and mental grit that outlasts seasonal peaks. Oh boy. And if that wasn't enough, Grok then said that Musk would beat former heavyweight boxer Mike Tyson in a boxing match. It said that Musk was funnier than Jerry Seinfeld, and Musk would have also risen from the dead faster than Jesus. Elon then claimed that Grok was unfortunately manipulated by adversarial prompting into saying absurdly positive things about me. For the record, I'm a fat retard. Smiling emoji. Well, I didn't have that on my 2025 Musk bingo card at all.
And finally, away from tech giants, this week saw some gaming giants take to the ring for the golden joysticks. What's that about?
The joysticks first took place back in 1982 in a London pub backroom and are now one of the gaming world's largest voted awards and take place around this time every year. This time there were 22 gamer chosen categories and 4 chosen by the critics, and the organisers said they got over 21 million votes from gamers this time round.
And who were the big winners? And what should we be asking Santa for?
The big winner this year was the indie-developed role-playing game Claire Obscure Expedition 33, a Japanese-style role-playing game created in France. It received positive reviews when it launched in April this year, but its success has been underlined by rivaling the best-ever performance in the Golden Joysticks by scooping 7 gongs in 1 year, including the Ultimate Game of the Year, Best Soundtrack and Best Story, as well as awards for the actors that played the characters and the studio behind the game. It's a beautiful looking game that reminds me of a modern Final Fantasy VII, and it's got appearances from voices including Charlie Cox from Marvel's Daredevil and the Brit acting and directing legend Andy Serkis. For a debut release from its developer, it's extraordinary. If you're still looking for something else, my favourite game of the year, Donkey Kong Bonanza on the Switch 2, won Critics' Choice, and there's loads of other things you can find on the full list of winners.
Still to come on the Sunday 7 in association with Metro, a fresh warning on ultra-processed food, and we go back in time for a first kiss. A major report this week published in the medical journal The Lancet suggests that ultra-processed food could be causing what they call a pandemic of chronic disease. The paper links 32 different conditions, including obesity and diabetes, to ultra-processed foods in our diet. And it also suggests UPF can lead to cardiovascular disease and even depression. Dr. Chris Van Tulleken is the author of the study. He's also a TV presenter and a professor of infection and global health at University College London. He says that processed food, which he defines as food that contain ingredients and additives that you couldn't create in your kitchen at home, are replacing fresh food in our diets.
Part of this is because of partnerships between the food industry and everyone who might regulate them. So if we look at the food industry, they partner with people in government on scientific advisory committees, on policy committees. They fund our biggest food charities. They fund scientific research groups. They fund doctors and influencers. And then, of course, they get to market food to consumers. So they have very, very good control of the environment that gives us information about whether our food is healthy.
It's estimated that in some European countries like Italy and Greece, ultra-processed food makes up about 25% of people's diets. However, in the UK and the US, it can be as high as 50%. The trend is driven by rising costs of ingredients and the need for food to last longer. But this morning's resident GP, Dr. Amir says there's no doubt that there is a spike in diseases, particularly bowel cancer in the under 50s.
I think it's important to say, yes, it is certainly rising, but the vast majority of bowel cancer does happen in people over the age of 50. But it's important to know why it's happening in younger people. The big thing is probably the intake of ultra-processed food. So these are food with very little nutrients in, but more importantly, very little fibre in. Fibre feeds our gut microbiome, our gut bacteria, which help reduce inflammation and quicken the passage of food through the gut. And if food is there for longer, any potential carcinogens are in contact with the bowel for longer as well.
We're a long way from Valentine's Day, but it turns out we could be even longer away from humanity's first kiss. A new research project from the University of Oxford suggests that it was 21 million years ago that the first kiss took place. The theory is that sexual kissing developed as a means to assess the suitability of a mate. And it's not just humans who do it. Monkeys, giraffes and even polar bears have been observed locking lips. The lead researcher on the study was Dr. Matilda Brindle, who is an evolutionary biologist at Oxford. And she spoke to BBC Breakfast about the research and the different purposes that different types of kissing serve.
There are some candidate hypotheses, and these actually differ depending on the type of kiss. So you have sexual kissing and then more platonic kissing. So that's one idea, and then it might be to do with kind of arousing individuals before copulation, which can also help to increase the chances of fertilization. So that's sexual kissing. Now for platonic kissing, we think that that might be to do with bonding. So it might be, a mother and her offspring, or chimpanzees will literally kiss and make up after a fight, and it kind of helps navigate social relationships and mitigate tensions, which is really important in primates who are an extremely social social species. I think we think of these behaviours as kind of a particularly human thing, and actually we've defined it in such a way that it could be applicable across a lot of animals, and found that it does seem to crop up a lot of times. Again, we need more data in the other animals in order to kind of assess why this might be evolving, whether it's evolved multiple times, whether there's this one ancestor that kissed and it's been retained across the course of evolution. But it's really interesting to me that they also share this behaviour that we do every day.
Still to come on the Sunday 7, in association with Metro, we take a good look at the AI bubble and investigate Florida's persistent mosquitoes.
Right after this. Hey, I'm Jamie East, and today's episode of the Smart 7 is brought to you by Sainsbury's, where you can save big on festive favourites with nectar prices. With Christmas round the corner, it's more important than ever to find value for money on your festive shop, especially if you're in the mood for festive, tasty treats. And this Christmas, Sainsbury's have got great discounts to make your festive season truly magical. For example, this week you can get a Taste the Difference 6-pack of mince pies, half price at £1.75, Fox's fabulous Viennese assortment sharing box for £3.75, and Pringles Original and Sour Cream and Onion both £1.50, all with nectar prices. You can shop in-store or online and save big on festive favourites this Christmas with nectar prices at Sainsbury's. That's good food for all of us. This offer's for 18+, terms and conditions apply. Pringles offer ends 2nd of December, Fox's offer ends 9th of December, nectar required, available in-store and online excluding locals, delivery fees may apply, subject to availability.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day, yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Welcome back.
America's healthcare system seems to be constantly in the spotlight these days, which is probably no surprise when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the Secretary for Health. With measles outbreaks ongoing in both Arizona and Utah, the US is very close to losing its status as a country that has eliminated measles. The outbreaks are in part being driven by vaccine reluctance, not helped when the Secretary for Health is a vaccine conspiracist. However, it's another infectious disease that has been making headlines this week, and that's dengue fever, which has been plaguing Florida this year. Dengue fever is largely transmitted by mosquitoes, and it has typically been more associated with tropical climates. But rising temperatures, heavier rainfall and longer summers have created ideal conditions in Florida for its spread. There have been outbreaks in very specific regions of Miami too, and Dr. Matthew Degennero is the director of the Biomolecular Sciences Institute at Florida State University, and he's been analysing mosquito genes to find out why.
We have been working with Miami-Dade Mosquito Control to try to figure out why these areas see dengue cases year after year after year.
Dr. Paul Muteby is the chief of the Mosquito Control Division in Miami-Dade County, and he says apart from the scientific approach, they are also taking a hands-on approach.
Basically what we do is boots on the ground. We do a lot of inspections because that's how you get rid of them, their breeding habits, and prevent them from making frequent contact with the people. So that is part of the research we are doing, because as soon as we understand that, we'll be able to counteract it. In other words, we can outsmart the mosquitoes.
This week has seen increasing anxiety from the tech world that the stock market growth driven by artificial intelligence may turn out to be a valuation bubble that could pop with devastating economic effects. The bubble is part being driven by one company, chipmaker Nvidia, who have seen booming profits drive it to become one of the world's most valuable companies. Jensen Huang is the company's CEO, and he and the markets were relieved this week when Nvidia delivered results which showed increasing strong profits. He says it's not a bubble. There were real game-changing developments on the way.
Don't forget to think about what is happening above, underneath what everybody sees as AI today. There's a whole movement of computing, from general purpose computing to accelerated computing. And that, if you take that into consideration, you'll come to the conclusion that, in fact, what is left over to fuel that revolutionary agentic AI is not only substantially less than you thought, and all of it justified.
Google's CEO Sundar Pichai wasn't sounding as confident this week as he spoke to BBC News.
Given the potential of this technology, the excitement is very rational. It's also true when we go through these investment cycles, there are moments we overshoot, right, collectively as an industry. So I think it's both rational and there are elements of irrationality through a moment like this.
One AI firm that has seen explosive growth is Anthropic, although this week they announced that their services have been used by hackers to attempt an AI-based infiltration of government agencies, financial institutions and tech firms. The hackers, who appeared to be a state-sponsored bad actor, used Anthropic's chatbot Claude, but the firm uncovered the scheme and managed to shut it down. Dario Amodei is the CEO and co-founder of Anthropic, and he told Anderson Cooper that even he is alarmed at the speed at which AI is impacting technology and society.
I'm deeply uncomfortable with these decisions being made by a few companies, by a few people.
Like, who elected you and Sam Altman?
No one. Honestly, no one. And this is one reason why I've always advocated for responsible and thoughtful regulation of the technology.
Video footage emerged this week of a dramatic sea rescue, but not of humans. Rather, it was a mission to reunite a baby sea otter named Caterpillar with its mother. That's not the sound of a hungry baby, it's the sound of the distressed sea otter cub who was rescued, but experts at the Marine Mammal Center in Morro Bay, California, needed to reunite with its mother. They recorded audio of the cub and took it out in a boat with a Bluetooth speaker in search of the worried mother sea otter. Shayla Zink is a volunteer at the Morro Bay Marine Mammal Center, and she says the search wasn't simple, but fortunately there was a happy ending.
We actually looked for 2 hours of playing this recording over and over. Our intern had to keep hitting play every once a minute when it would run out, and just looking for interested adults that maybe were approaching the boat, looked kind of frantic and seemed like this was their pup and they were looking for it. So after about 2 hours, we did find an individual who was repeatedly approaching the boat. She comes and gets it, and she gives it a good sniff and some grooming before she starts swimming off with it away from the boat.
This has been the Sunday 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. with the regular Smart 7. Have a great rest of your weekend. Written, produced and published by Daft Doris. Hey, I'm Jamie East, and today's episode of the Smart 7 is brought to you by Sainsbury's, where you can save big on festive favourites with nectar prices. With Christmas round the corner, it's more important than ever to find value for money on your festive shop, especially if you're in the mood for festive, tasty treats. And this Christmas, Sainsbury's have got great discounts to make your festive season truly magical. For example, this week you can get a Taste the Difference 6-pack of mince pies, half price at £1.75, Fox's fabulous Viennese assortment sharing box for £3.75, and Pringles Original and Sour Cream and Onion both £1.50, all with nectar prices. You can shop in-store or online and save big on festive favourites this Christmas with nectar prices at Sainsbury's. That's good food for all of us. This offer's for 18+, terms and conditions apply. Pringles offer ends 2nd of December, Fox's offer ends 9th of December, nectar required, available in-store and online excluding locals. Delivery fees may apply, subject to availability.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.